All right. Hey, everybody. So, have you ever felt like you were not able to speak up, give your opinion, share your opinion, or people are blocking you from allowing you to feel like you can just say what you want to say whenever you want to say it? Well, today's episode on Let's Get Latin, we're going to talk about finding your voice, having the power that you need to be able to assert yourself, to share your opinions, and not let anybody make you feel like you can't do that. So here we go. Let's get Latin. Let's get loud, ladies. Hey. All right. I am your host, Coach Abby, and this is my amazing and beautiful co host, Diana. How are you doing today?
Good. Ready.
Good. Ready. All right. So today's episode, we're going to talk all about the power of finding your own voice. So I'm going to start off like right when you were younger. I was always the loud one.
Yeah.
Surprised, right? Always the loud one. Always share my opinions.
For me, yeah.
But you were always really super quiet. Like
Mhm.
she's the baby of 5 of us kids. So her and I are the closest in age. We grew up the closest, throughout our whole life. But very, very different personalities, you and I. Why do you feel that maybe you were much quieter than me when we were younger?
Well, because we're so close in age, I think it started as being enabled. So, like, if I want something, you already knew what I wanted, so you would kind of speak for me in my behalf while I was still learning to form my words. So it became a dependency in the beginning, and then I was more timid and shy growing up. I was more observe my surroundings because I didn't really trust as easily. So having you was always like, for me, it was beneficial because you were outgoing. So I, at a young age, met most of my people either through you, like built friendships through you, like getting to know people because you kind of gave me the push that I needed. But yeah, we just have completely different personalities. So,
Yeah. And that makes total sense. Like, so, we're talking about finding our voice, right?
Mhm.
And in a world where today there are a lot of opinions, there's a lot of opinions about a lot of things, but there's
Right.
also a lot of people that will push you down or step on you or not make you and allow you to feel like you have the right to be able to speak about a topic that you feel is important or to share your opinions, right? About something that you feel is important, that you want to share your opinion. Maybe it's totally contrary to whatever other people think. Um,
Right.
what like so I know what I would do, but the majority of the time, right? So we're going to talk about how being Latin kind of helps us be this way. But
Mhm.
why do you think a lot of people feel like, so in your case, you kind of grew up with that dependency, you're the younger child, right? What are some of the reasons you think that some people don't find that voice or aren't able to express that voice?
I definitely think it has to do with low self confidence. Having a doubt within yourself of if your opinion being heard is valid, or if you hold up enough space, if you have enough value to put an input. A lot of people also don't they struggle with confrontation, so they have the fear of somebody confronting them with the fact that they have a different opinion or a different view, and a lot of people don't even want to deal with that, so they'll stay quiet, or they've been suppressed within their childhood to
Mm.
be trained to stay quiet. So that kind of will also project itself in your adulthood. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other thing I have found, just in my career and in my life, is that sometimes people feel, well, somebody knows more than I do. They have more knowledge. They're more of an expert. I'm not really an expert. I just read books and I just, I don't know as much. So I'm not going to put myself out there because you're going to feel like, oh, what if they call me out on something? And it's so interesting, um, you know, in my career and all the years that I've been doing all different kinds of business things, right? One thing that I have found, and in the research and the books that I have found, is there's always going to be somebody who knows more than you, right?
yeah.
There's always going to be that multiple people. And that's a good thing because
Mhm.
we can learn from those people.
Mhm.
They are other, experts. But here's the deal. finding your voice and sharing your voice is still important for you to do because of the fact that there are people that are 2 or 3 steps behind you that don't
Right.
even know what you know or don't know what I know. So can we guide them? Can we help them?
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, there's something to be said for book smart and street smart also. So you could
Mm,
have all the knowledge and not had to have lived the experience. And I find that people are able to relate more to somebody who's been through the experience because you're speaking from a
yeah,
place that they can definitely relate to. So your examples and your familiarity with the subject doesn't
yeah,
necessarily mean like, okay, I didn't get my PhD in this in psychology, but I've lived through it. I know what it is to
yes.
be in this kind of cycle. I know what it took for me to break it. So people thinking that they don't have the education that needs to match that does not necessarily mean that you're not experienced in the field of topic.
Absolutely. Mujer, you said it. That is so, so true. Gas, vamos. No, that's absolutely true. Like street smarts living, like, and I feel like a lot of us and many people who are coaches, right? It started because of a passion of something they'd already been through. It was
Yep.
part of a journey that they had to experience, or while they were experiencing it, they started to share, or something in their past that they went through. And then they said, oh man, if I felt this way and this is how I was able to heal or find my voice or get better, I
Mhm.
wonder how many other people feel the way that I feel. And that is
Right.
so true. Like, even with myself, like finding motivation, finding my voice. I'm a pretty confident person. There's very, and I don't say that in a conceited way. I'm
Right.
just very sure of myself. I know what I know and I know what I don't know. And I don't allow people to steal that from me. Right.
Mhm.
However, I say that being said, there are still some people that can make me feel um, not as good,
Right.
or maybe I don't know as much, right? They can make me feel, and so they can kind of steal some of that voice that I have and some of my power. And the reason, and that's kind of also the other reason why I wanted to do um, start this business and start this show, is really to show women that we can own who we are, right?
Yep.
Being part of it, I'm going to bring the little Latin in here, okay? The Latin me and us in this is one thing that I believe as being Latinas is we own who we are. We
Mhm.
may have lots of things, baggage and drama and all kinds of stuff. And yes, we're a little bit crazy. I'm sure you've seen all the TikToks of you want fire, hey, be with a Latina. And it's true. We get a little because we're so passionate. Um, but you have to find, as all humans, but as women, we need to find and own that space within ourselves that says, I'm
Yes.
not going to let you steal my power. I'm not going to let you steal my voice. I know who I am. Whether I've lived the journey, right? Or
Mhm.
whether I have studied and I know what's going on. I've learned these things. I want to share it. And don't let people take that away from you, right? Yeah.
Definitely.
So go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just said definitely. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. So what are some tips that we could give to women that maybe be struggling finding their own voice, maybe because of either a lack of confidence in themselves or other people making them feel like they're stealing their power? What tips and advice? I mean, how did you find your voice? Because you did. It took you a minute, but you have your own
Yeah.
voice.
Um, but your voice is always there, because we speak to ourselves, either if it's in our own head or we're having a dialogue with nobody while we're doing our makeup. So our voice is always there. Um, I always used to talk to myself like, what would I do in a situation, creating drama, imaginary drama of what I would do when I was younger.
Yeah.
So all it is being put in a scenario where whether it's in your workplace or within your home dynamic or in a relationship or even a family setting where you feel like people are overstepping, that's
Mm.
when you have to kind of like bring the Latina out and be like, okay, I'm quiet and I'm timid, pero no soy pendeja tampoco. Like I'm not dumb. I'm not gonna let you walk all over me. I'm gonna speak up for myself. So for me, it was being put in confrontation. So I was shy, but I was never been afraid of confrontation, as we both know. So
Yes.
for me,
But that took you a while. That took you a while to get there because you were very quiet and shy
as a
and did
kid,
let people
but you
and
get
you
tired.
yeah,
Yeah, but you'll
that's
get tired. And there's gonna
yeah.
come a point where you're like, "Okay, I don't like how this makes me feel, and it's only happening because I'm allowing it to happen." So that's when you put your foot down. So there's something that's going to happen that's going to make that shift and that change, and it's really gonna end up that person's limit being met and being like, "I don't like the way this makes me feel, so I'm not gonna take it anymore, and I'm going to speak up for myself in how I
Yeah,
feel."
absolutely. And what it's funny that you say that because I was watching, I love TikTok. So I'm always watching TikTok videos and kind of but one of the things that I was seeing is like it was a podcast of a bunch of men and they're like women it was a guy speaking and he was saying that women who are confident are very attractive to men. However, they're also scared of them. So they don't confront them easily. So if you're a woman in a powerful position, like you're a lawyer or, in any power position that mainly men, sit in,
Right,
you'll probably find it hard to find a date or to find someone to get past date 1 or 2, right? Because
right,
they're intimidated by your power. That means that they can't BS you. You're not going to put up with the crap because you work double and twice as hard to get where you're at, right?
right,
So you're not in, you're intimidating and it's almost like you have to, some women will do this is that they will lower their standard to be able to get a guy. And it's just like, no, you have that power. And we're going to talk about our next episode that we do is going to be about femininity and masculinity. And we're going to talk about how to be able to own that and balance that. But, that's really what it is. We don't have to stop being powerful women. We just have to learn how to balance our voice the right way so
mhm,
that to the right man, he's going to level up and he's going
right,
to match and then exceed your your power in the sense of being able to take care of you and not feel
mhm,
intimidated by you. So the people that are intimidated by you, they're not worth your time and they know it because they're not
right.
going to BS you. So
Yeah,
I know that was a little bit of
they'll steer clear, like, "Oh, no."
well, yeah. I used to always think so when I was younger and single, I used to always think like guys don't really hit on me. They don't really like me. And it hasn't been until years later that I've learned it's not that. It's just that I was super confident and I
Yeah,
didn't need someone else's affirmations for me. Like I just
yeah.
didn't need it. And so most guys didn't know what to do with that.
Well, that's because, unfortunately, most guys don't stand in their own masculine power, so they're just not confident enough in themselves. Also, they
Yeah.
also have to deal with confidence issues like we do, you know, so, like, when you have someone who's here confident and they're not here, they already feel like they're already at a disadvantage, so
Mm,
it would mean they have to make a big step up in effort, and a lot of people don't even wanna take the time to do that. Now, when they find somebody they really love and they're like, "Oh, no, she has to be mine," he will automatically
mhm.
do what it takes to do that. But
You will do it.
yeah,
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. So we're hearing a lot of sometimes women's lack of finding their voice could be from childhood, right? They've been put in
yeah,
a place or in a space where it's like, hey, children are meant to be told things, they're just meant to listen, to not be heard, right? So some of us in our, depending on the generation, grew up
yes,
like that. And then other times it was like, well, self-worth in within family, right? Or even in your own self was part of it. Like you didn't feel powerful enough. You didn't feel like you should own space, speak your truth or whatever. So some of
right.
that. And then some of that could just be relationships, right? Relationships that we've had that have pushed our voice back and down to not
Yeah.
make us feel like we can share.
Well, bad relationships, if it's a toxic relationship, will initially be drawn to you because you're a confident person and that's what kind of attracts them.
Mm,
Depending on the type of toxic relationship, a lot of men who are toxic, especially if it's like narcissistic kind of abuse, um, they get their rocks off from like bringing that woman's confidence down here. Like it's almost like subduing her, like being able it's like a challenge of being able to like, I'm superior, I'm the man, so I can make her, level down to where I want her to be. Right.
Yeah.
So it's very much about like if someone's not allowing you to take up the space that you require, trying to chew you down to a size that they can afford to swallow, then they can't afford you. And
Yeah.
that's like not financial, that's in a whole kind of presence in life.
Emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
if you have to size me down to make me conform to what you're able to chew, then you can't afford to have me because I'm too much for you. And so a
Yeah.
lot of women who are like that will down themselves. They feel like they're too much and they want to keep this relationship. And those are some of the tactics that can happen in a relationship to make you kind of like quiet down, not speak your
I
truth, avoid
yes.
arguments.
Totally. I hear you say, you're too much. Honey, you ain't enough if I'm too much.
Right.
Can't match me then. That's the
Right.
problem.
Yes.
Like vamos, okay? Mujeres, stop limiting yourself and what you think you're worth. Write down what you're worth and own that. And any man who absolutely loves you for who you are is going to want to know your opinion on everything. He
Right.
may not agree with you on everything, you guys, because we grew up differently, right? And we're all humans, even in the same family. Like there's 5 of us kids, we're all
Yep.
so totally different, and we have massively different opinions about a lot of things. However, we respect each other and we allow each other to speak our voice, say our opinions, right? So let's talk about some tips, practical tips to develop confidence through communication. What would be a couple of tips that you would give women in saying, like, here, try these things when it comes to finding your voice?
Practicing. I think, okay, so when we talk to ourselves kind of quietly when we're timid, speaking up louder. For me
Mm,
personally, I spoke very quietly, like not quiet, like where you couldn't hear me and it was a whisper, but it was like very much um a not confident voice. So you can see it from a mile away when you hear my voice. So speaking up louder when you speak, being clear,
mm.
not backpedaling on the things that we say, and stumbling
Just
over our
because
words.
someone
So,
is,
right,
right?
practice, whether it's in your mirror or with your friend or with your family, and being able to be a little louder with the people that you're comfortable with, so that when you're outside of that dynamic in the real world, not in your comfort zone, you will have gotten more familiar with that feeling and used to it. So it makes it more of a natural thing for you to be able to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we have to pause for a minute because I think the car was going off. The
The
alarm.
alarm,
Sorry.
I can't hear it.
Yeah. Okay,
It's
good.
not sounding off on here.
Okay, good.
Like you can hear it because you're in your house, but I can't hear it
Okay,
on
okay,
the.
good. Afraid it was going to be like, oh,
Mm-mm.
I'm not liking any of my hair. I don't like my outfit. Ugh.
It's raining. I put gel in my hair. I threw it back. I was like, it's raining. My hair's gonna be like.
That's what I feel like. I just feel like, I don't know. I got bags in my eyes. Okay, it's okay. We're just gonna go with it. Her
I put
imperfection is
so much.
perfectly okay. It's true. Like I think as women, we tend to like feel like we have to look amazing, and it's not. That's nice. Let's
We're
be real. We
overcritical,
always
though.
look good. You are overcritical of ourselves and other
Yeah,
women. Like I just need to stop. Like it's okay. It's fine. I'm 44 and I have
we're
lots of
all like
jobs.
that, though. But even when we were younger, we were critical of ourselves in certain times. Not as much because you're young and everything's all, voluptuous and your skin's firm and blah, blah, blah. You have all this energy. But even then, we were like critical of ourselves because,
Yeah,
well, TV makes you that way, movies and movie stars and what the
and
image of a woman is
people.
supposed to look like. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll just cut it out and that'll be a real clip. This is real life, y'all. This is real. This is life. Anyway, okay. So no, I love what you're saying. So speak up, find your voice, speak up, own it. I like how you said, don't backpedal, like own it, practice.
Right.
Practice situations that you know within your friends or your family, coworkers, things that are going to get up. And if you have an opinion about it, and I'm super opinionated, but I'm not a violent, aggressive, opinionated person. And
Right.
here's what I mean. There are people that become so aggressive about their opinion because I have to change your mind, right? You
Right.
have to believe what I believe and you have to think what I think in and be, you know, I'm not like that. And I think the world would be a better place if no one was like that. It's like, I'm a big believer of you can have your opinion, I'll have my opinion, and we can respect each other's opinions. But it doesn't mean I'm going to jump on board like, cool, okay, I heard what you had to say. I don't necessarily agree with that. Here's my opinion. Here's why. This is what
Right.
I believe in. This is what I'm going to own and do. Right. But sometimes if you have a good argument, and things make sense, you can change other people's opinion, but it's always with seasoned with salt, right? The
Right.
kinder and the less aggressive that we can share our opinion and own it, you know, as a belief system, sometimes people's minds can be changed. But even if they're not, it's totally okay just to respect them and move on,
Yeah.
you know? So I would say, like, on top of your practicing, own your opinion. You don't have to be wishy-washy, right? Back and forth like a seesaw. Like, oh, okay, well, all right, sure. When you're with these group of friends, you say and do and believe things that they do, and then maybe when you're with your family, you say and do and believe things, right? Because then you're going to be so wishy-washy. It's like, well, who are you? Who's
Right.
the real you?
Well, and you can't be trusted as a friend if you are not confident in your own truth, because like if someone, like for an example, like your friend, you guys are going to go out and your friend's dressed up and she's wearing something that's not really flattering to her body type, and she's like, oh, like, what do you think about this? And you're like the appeasing friend who wants to always, be nice, like, oh, you look great, knowing that they don't. You're not really being a friend. So be a friend and be like, you know what, maybe this outfit's not the best outfit for you because you look so much better in whatever body shape the person has that flatters their body better. But like, I don't want to be going out and my so-called friends telling me, "Oh yeah, you look great." It's like having lettuce or lipstick on your teeth and them not telling you the whole night.
Man, I hate that.
But so like you're
So
not
we
being nice and doing me a favor by not hurting my feelings. You're making me look like a fool. So just be that's a big part of, the trust in a friendship. If you can't be honest and you can't be confident in yourself to say things,
yeah,
then you really can't
yeah.
be a good friend or a good member of your family if you cannot be your true self. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I hate walking around and then go in my car and I go look in the mirror in my car and I saw a big piece of salad. I'm like, seriously, I talked to 12 people. Not one
I
person could
remember
have
that
told me.
conversation with you. Told
I'm like,
me.
come on. Because I'm gonna be that girl. I got your back. Hey, you got a little something, something. Go take it out. Or
Right.
here's my camera. Here, get it out,
Yes.
get it under control. Like, I'm not gonna let you look like a fool, you know. And I agree with you. Sometimes we do things because we're trying to be nice, but ultimately, the better we're doing a disservice, right? The better
Right.
service would be like, hey, girl, you know what? I've seen you wear your dark jeans with a really cute black shirt, and that looks so good on you. So you don't have
Yes.
to tell somebody, hey, you look horrible, you look fat.
Right.
You don't have to say that. You can just be like, I've seen you in that outfit. That outfit was amazing on you. Maybe try to wear that or something like
Right.
that.
Right.
Saying the same exact thing, but in a tactful,
Mhm.
kind way without having to
Yes.
say, you look bad.
Yes.
And
No,
let's be
definitely.
honest, Latinas, including myself, will just say, no, you look bad. I am that girl.
Oh,
I
I'm more
will
like,
just say,
no, I don't like that.
me wear something better.
Yeah.
Even my husband, he's like, no, you looked better before. I'm like, okay, fine. Let me go find my better outfit. And it's funny because I always, just quick side note, every time somebody tells me, oh, you look really nice, you look really good, I kind of either take a picture or I make a mental note of,
Yeah.
okay, what was I wearing? Oh, okay, that was flattering. Cool. So you'll start learning those kinds of things too. That's just a fashion side tip, by the way.
Yeah.
But you have to find your voice in everything, ladies,
Yeah.
like with your children. I remember, so I am very opinionated. I really rarely let someone railroad me or tell me what to do and share. Like, they are able to share things, but to change my mind in certain things. So
Right.
I remember though with my mother-in-law, because we had twins, right? So I've been married twice. My second marriage, my husband and I had twins, and my mother-in-law is very opinionated too. So she's
Yeah.
got very strong opinions and beliefs. And that's probably why we get along. I guess we're just so the same, just like, no, yes, no. So I just remember one time being like, hey, I forgot what it was, but it's like, hey, can you make sure you do A, B, C, D with the girls when they spend the night? Don't let them do whatever.
Right.
And so I remember when they came back, she didn't do what I asked. Okay. So I kind of let it slide. And then the next time she wanted to take the girls, I was like, all right, well, here's the deal. When I ask you to do something with my kids, I need you to do it, because if you can't do it, I can't give you my kids. Like, that's just how simple it's going to be, because I'm the mom and I love that you love them. But at the same time, I need you to follow what I need you to do. Right. On very big things, not little,
Not
let grandparents.
Right.
Yeah, let grandparents be grandparents. Let them play with their kids. Let them do. But if it's something that every time they come back, my kids are acting a certain way, oh no, we're not doing that. I'm not raising bratty kids. Ain't happening. No niña. No vamos a hacer eso. No. So, but we have such a great relationship because I can say something and she can, whereas in past relationships with her other sons, the ex-daughter-in-law felt like she couldn't speak up. And I was like, no, you can absolutely speak up. It's just learn how to do it in a respectful, kind way and let people know. And I don't just mean my mother-in-law, I just let people know, here's where I stand. And this is where I expect you to take, to own this and respect me for who I am. So tips of practicing, don't backpedal, know who you are, stand in it, own it. You can still say things tactfully in a kind way. Different relationships require different ways of speaking. And you got to learn how to communicate that way to people, right? The way you might talk to your children versus in-laws versus your family versus your own, spouse. There's going to be different forms of communication. Doesn't mean that your opinion's different with every single one, or at least it shouldn't be. It's just the way that you communicate it is going to be slightly different for your audience. And then that's just a rule. Like even in sales, been doing sales for 22 years, is learning how to speak to the person, the right way, and saying the specific words to that person because of how they accept things is super important when it comes to sales. So it's just about communication in whatever relationship you're in. And even in communicating with yourself, right? Tell yourself you're powerful. Tell yourself you have the right to own the space. Tell yourself you have the right to have opinions and share your opinions and to be respected for your opinions. You need to start with you first, and then you practice that with others as well, right?
I'm very big on mirror time, speaking to yourself in the mirror, because we are so busy like speaking to other people and giving, like especially our kids, like we want them to feel that they have value and we want to send them off into the world confident. We want to know that they can speak up and they can talk to us about things. But I feel like being a parent, you no longer have that dynamic because you're not a little kid coming to your parents anymore. So we don't make time for ourselves enough. So I do mirror time where like I speak to myself about what I want from myself, what I expect from myself, and it's speaking confidence into myself. So like what I am, I'm a dedicated mother, I'm powerful, I've accomplished many things, I'm confident, I'm happy, I'm beautiful, and I'm in my own skin, so all the things that other people have complimented me on and find attractive about me, I also should be taking the time to appreciate that about myself, which is a big key in being confident in yourself.
Yes, I love it. No, I love that. And I love that you said mirror time. That's really cool. That's kind of new and unique from my perspective. Never heard that before. So I'm going to try that. So, but it's similar to what I do. So it's like affirmations, right? So I've been doing coaching with a lot of people. And one of the things they tell me, it's my kids, one of the things they tell me is do a voice memo and speak to yourself and say all the things that you want to have or as if you already have it.
Yeah.
Right? So what your finance is, what your health is, what your body looks like, what you feel, your perfect day, what you want in your business, what your perfect day in business looks like, the kind of clients, like everything, the house, the cars, the vacations, whatever your dreams, aspirations, almost like a vision board, right? And you speak to yourself, however long, typically about 3 minutes or so. And then you listen to that every night, right before you go to bed. And then every morning, right before you get up.
Yep.
And what that does is it creates that little trigger and that mindset in your head to be the boss, to own it, to find your power, to own your power, be that power for the entire day. And when you sleep listening to it, you're thinking about it while you're asleep, right? Because that's where dreams come from, right? There's still brain activity happening. It's funny because I saw this quote or this gentleman say that for a woman, only 10% of her brain shuts off to sleep at night.
I watched that last night.
Did you watch that? 90% of her brain is still active while
We're
she's
sisters.
sleeping.
We totally the same thing.
Well, and I was thinking, like, that is so true because literally in the middle of the night, I'm running through a list in my head while I'm sleeping of what I still have to accomplish, what I still need to get done.
I think
what I
women
need to do.
are like that though, because we have children. So like it's programmed to be able to hear when our children are babies, if we feel something's off or we have to check on them or we hear them crying. So I feel like it's we're like that for that reason. But yes, your brain will definitely make a list of things that you have to do and you're prepping for the day. So we're not as well rested. We're tired in the morning sometimes. But
if only 10% of my brain is ever sleeping. So that means like we're on fire all the time. Ladies, and we are Latinas, we have a double disadvantage. We're already fiery. So imagine only sleeping for 10% of your brain every single night. But again, I feel like find the Latina in you. The Latina in you is going to say, you're not going to run me over. You're not going to overpower me. I have the right to have my opinion. I have the right to share it and own that. So if you feel like a little bit intimidated or a lot intimidated, find some of your Latina friends that are like, no, girl, you have the right to say that. You have the right to feel that way. And it really is all about communication because you don't have to be a jerk about it. You don't have to be mean about it. You can be powerful in the kindest of ways. And I believe that the people that are kind are the most powerful because they take all that and they restrain the stupidity of other people to not allow them to act. But I'm not going to pretend because there are moments where I do act. So I'm just saying.
I'm better at that now. I used to let people bring me out of my character. And then it was like, I didn't work so hard to be not an angry Latina and be composed and be a healthier version of myself for someone to be able to get an old reaction out of me. Which sometimes people, I feel like, purposely challenge you to be the old you. And that's when I have to say, this conversation is not even worth my time. And I just keep it moving because I don't want, and you don't want the old version of me. It's not going to be good for either of us. So
listen, I always tell everybody I look good in orange. I'm not even going to lie. The only problem is they don't serve wine there. So it's got to hold me back. Well, okay, so I'm going to leave it with this.
In a toilet, you don't want it.
No kidding. Well, and here's the deal. The other thing that I think of is we want to be amazing examples for our children. So whether we have, we have boys or we have girls or both boys and girls, we want to show what healthy life and as a human looks like to our kids. We want to raise the next generation of kids, not with more generational problems. We want to break that chain and we want to bring the health back and create our children to have a better life. I mean, ultimately, that's what every parent wants. We want our kids, we do everything, the sacrifices that we make, and even in our own love and our own relationships that we have and that we choose because we think it's better for our kids. But ultimately, the more that we're healed, the more that we find our power, the more that we own our power and the more that as women, we speak truth to ourselves first and then to others, the better it's actually going to be for our children because we're going to be better examples for them and help them find their voice and be a better person because of it.
Plus, you can't preach to your children and your daughters and your sons to be confident, and you're here a prime example of inconfidence and of timidness. So you have to be able to practice what you preach to your children, because our kids are visual. And yeah, they do listen to what they say, but they learn example from what they see mostly, especially growing up. So if you want to have confident children, then you have to kind of muster it up and also step to the plate, and you have to have that confidence within yourself, because you can't direct your child in a way you don't even know how to walk.
Yep, it's so true. It's so
Yep.
true. I love it. All right. So women, mujeres, mis latinas, todas las mujeres que están aquí. All right. All of you that are here, find your voice. Find your voice. Use some of the tips that we talked about today. Get your friends, get your girlfriends together and talk about how to find your power and share your voice. Break the barriers within yourself and for your family, for your children, for your girls, for your kids, right? It's so important that you can express authentically your true self. And that's going to take practice and time. But don't give up. Don't let people stop you. You shouldn't stop yourself, and you shouldn't allow other people to stop you. Listen, thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate sharing some of your time with us. I hope you grabbed some wine or some tequila, whatever, and was able to sit down, relax for a little bit without interruption. That's right. If you like this show, please make sure that you like it, you share it with your other mujeres, with your beautiful ladies, and leave us some comments, because we want to talk about the things that matter to you, things from a Latina perspective. We have one more episode that we're going to be doing for this season, but I'm so excited that you were here. Diana, thanks for being my co-host today, and we shall see you soon. Yes, mujeres, we'll see you soon. Let's get loud. Let's get Latin, ladies.
Woo!
Talk to you
Bye.
soon. Woo!